Good morning, everyone. Good and Erev Shabbos. Today is Friday, May 8th, as we head into Parshas Emor. Today is the 29th day of the Omer. For those who are keeping score at home, I'm going to go with an old personal favorite. It was my first favorite sports number back watching Rangers hockey growing up. They had a great defenseman named Reijo Ruotsalainen. Extra points for anyone who can spell that. He was one of the speediest defensemen in the league back in the day, but that's number 29, and it's hard to believe that we're going into our 9th Shabbos in isolation, our 9th Shabbos without having the shul open, and we are trying our best to get back to business. Please continue to daven for Refuah Shalema for Ivan Sobel, Mordechai ben Elka, Rafael Zev ben Rickel, and for Gittel Basara, and for all those who need our prayers and our healing. I would like to acknowledge the following yahrzeits that will take place this week. Avraham Baruch ben Zev HaKohen, Leah Bas Yosef, Rav David ben Yechiel, Yoel ben Yaakov HaKohen, Moshe ben Avraham, Shmuel Aryeh ben Yaakov, Yonatan ben Zev Meir, and Avraham Yitzchak ben David. Again, their neshama should have an aliyah, and I have, just so you know, I have arranged that I do have someone in Israel, in Eretz Yisrael, that is saying Kaddish for when we need, and for those who are currently in their years of mourning, saying Kaddish. Today we also, this idea of the dedications has really taken off, and I'm glad to say that the sponsorships are rolling in, and I think we already have all of next week sponsored, but it's not too late. If you'd like to sponsor the Dvar Torah, the video for the day, it's a way to help support your shul. As the shul, we still need to be operating, even though we're in limited capacity, but we still need to keep the shul going. And please let me know if you would like, if you have a simcha, a yahrzeit, a milestone, I don't know, you put on pants for the first time in 2 weeks, whatever it might be that you want to sponsor, we are more than happy to acknowledge. So today's sponsorship of the Friday video and the Friday Dvar Torah is from Mindy and Stephen Goldman. Goldie, who has just celebrated a milestone birthday. He said I could say what year it is, but let's begin by saying that now he can go to ShopRite at 7 a.m. and shop at the elite in those pre-opening hours, so to say, because he has now turned 60. Mr. Fix-It is 60, but I want to show you this sort of like before and after. This is Goldie now. They just had a recent trip to Japan, and this is just, I mean, I get the stuff I can get a hold of on the internet is amazing. Look at that Goldie from I don't know how many years ago, but it's a few years ago, and Goldie claims, and I believe him, by the way, but that maybe that was when he was 28 years old, because he said since the age of 28 he has been wearing the same waist size. But in all seriousness, thank you, Goldie, for the sponsorship. Happy birthday to you. We should have many, many happy returns. But more importantly, thank you for everything that you do for the shul and for so many of us. As you are known as Mr. Fix-It, but very quietly and very subtly, not only serving on our board, but really climbing up the ladders and making sure that everything's working properly, that the lights are on, and that everything is functioning as it should be, which is no small thing, because those who do the work of the community and the congregation with great faith, we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishalem Secharam, that God will indeed pay back and reward you in kind. And may you, and Mindy, and your whole family really only see bracha, tzlacha, and most importantly, you should have health. And thank you so much, and mazel tov to you on this milestone occasion. I wanted to share a Dvar Torah for Shabbos, something which I think is apropos, having to do with a certain confluence of events. Today is Pesach Sheni. In Parshas Ba'aloscha, we read of a certain law, and this happens to be one of my favorite laws because it talks about second chances, where if someone was unable to perform the Paschal Lamb sacrifice, the Karban Pesach, for a variety of reasons, whether the person was unable to be there, whether the person was ritually impure, whatever it might be, the Torah gives you a makeup. It's a wonderful thing. The Torah gives you a makeup. Those you might have seen online, my good friend Eli Beer, he should live and be well, Eli Beer, who travels the world for United Hatzalah. He's created an empire but he was struck with COVID and he was stuck in a hospital in Miami, Florida, and only recently was he able to travel home. And there was a video yesterday showing Eli Beer sitting at a Seder table actually doing Pesach Sheni, because during the original Pesach, he was on a ventilator in the hospital in Florida. So there's a real practical application of this sort of second chance. So that's Pesach Sheni, which is today. Next week also, we will have Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer, which is a day where in the old days we would go out, leave school and play softball or go out and have outings, whatever it might be. But it's a day because during the period of the Omer, when we record the tragic loss of the students of Rabbi Akiva, who had 24,000 students, and they all perished. And the Gemara says because of a certain plague, for whatever the reason. And on Lag BaOmer, the plague stopped. And what did Rabbi Akiva do when he lost 24,000 students? The Gemara tells us that he went back and he started from scratch and he rebuilt his empire. He gave himself a second chance. So it's no coincidence that Pesach Sheni is always right around the time of Lag BaOmer. And I think it's super important for us this year, especially, to recognize that. Is that we have all been seen and witnessed and experienced God hitting the great reset button. Everything that we took for granted, everything that we accepted as normal, everything that we accepted as sort of ordinary, has been thrown out the window. We would normally assume that I can get up in the morning and I can go to shul. Or Shabbos morning, I can go to shul. Well, guess what? That's all changing. That's all over. 9 Shabbases in a row that we can't even be here. Yontif. It doesn't even look like we're going to be here for Shavuos. I mean, I'll be amazed if we could be in for Shavuos. But even when we can be back in, and we have guidelines that are coming out shortly. I was privileged to be part of a rabbinic leadership meeting yesterday with Dr. Anthony Fauci, and he was discussing specifically the issue of synagogues, and we have hopefully a united and unified approach through the Orthodox Union and the RCA about how we're going to go back to shul. But whatever it is, and whenever it is, when we go back to shul, it's not going to be as we knew it. But we are getting a second chance. We're getting a Pesach Sheni. And we're getting a Pesach Sheni, but also we have to rebuild everything that was lost. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to just go back to the way we were. It means that we're going to rebuild in a stronger way, in a more sensible way, in a healthy way, and we're going to do whatever is required of us, no matter how difficult that might be. Because that's what rebuilding is about, is we learn from experience and we go forward. So as we head into this 9th Shabbos, and today as we observe, however we observe, people have the custom to eat matzah on Pesach Sheni. There was no tachdon. That's really exciting. But if you have the understanding of what Pesach Sheni is that, you know, sometimes in life God gives you a second chance. And now that we're going to get the second chance, whenever that happens, hopefully sooner than later. But we have to also take the mentality of Rabbi Akiva of learning from our experience and rebuilding from scratch. So I look forward to the day when we can all work on that together earnestly and say, well, this is going to be the new reality for us. But the bottom line is that there will be a new reality, and it will happen. Just a matter of time. We have to be patient. We have to stay the course. We have to follow and do what we're told. But in the meantime, we all have to really follow this principle of pikuach nefesh, of we're saving lives. By not going to shul, by not being around one another, by having this social distancing, we are still saving lives. I know it seems tiresome, it seems burdensome, it seems like, okay, enough already. But the truth is that we're not out of the woods yet. So let's pray that on this Pesach Sheni, that God indeed will give us a healthy second chance. And that when we do so, we'll rebuild so in a strong, serious, and really significant, meaningful fashion. And we will never take for granted these last number of weeks what we've gone through. And that will come back stronger than before. So I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a peaceful Shabbos, a healthy Shabbos, and one in which we can hopefully see one another very, very soon. Shabbat Shalom.